Kia ora guys, welcome back to the Black Jersey. My name's Max and I'm the host over here at this channel. A big thank you to my patrons, as I say at the start of every single video. For today, we are presenting the 2023 Rugby Championship team of the tournament. Because I go into excessive detail in all of my match autopsies, well, I thought I'd better get my team of the tournament done first, as I can beat somebody for that thing that way. Just to let you know of the criteria as well, guys. Each player, they have to have at least one start in the tournament and play at least 2 games. I know it's a very short tournament, this one. It's in a World Cup year, but you still need to have some kind of criteria, and the forwards tackle rate, it had to be 80% or more. The makeup of the team, well, I have to brag here a little bit. I need this one opportunity to do it as I'm an All Blacks fan. So I've got 6 All Blacks, I've got 2 Los Pumas players, 4 Springboks and 3 Wallabies. Los Pumas probably did the most resting and rotating of any of the teams, and so they are, I guess, not really having as much of an impact on this side. And so we're going to start off with the type 5 forwards over at Loosehead prop, and Ethan de Groot realistically was the only choice. This guy is becoming an absolute machine, and he is on his way to becoming one of the world's very best at the set piece. Also nice to see him missing just a single tackle throughout the tournament after starting in all 3 games that the All Blacks played. The hooker is Julian Montoya, who I previously labelled as Los Pumas' most important player ahead of the 2023 Rugby World Cup. He is their captain, he is fast approaching 100 tests, and he got another 3 under his belt off 196 minutes of a possible 240 off this tournament. Scored 1 try and ran 58 metres as well, beat 3 defenders off 18 carries, and with 16 passes and 1 try assist, that is not too bad of a pass to carry ratio for a hooker either. Tyrell Lomax had a similar thing over here with 3 passes and 1 offload compared to his 5 carries. Like de Groot, he had to be the pick at prop. He is an excellent front row partner for de Groot. You can just anchor that scrum down absolutely brilliantly. 170 minutes is not bad for a number 3 at all, while he made 21 of 26 tackles. Tyrell Lomax has had an absolute redemption since this time last year and is well and truly at the peak of his career. Another guy that is still at the peak of his career is Eben Etzebeth, who I had long wanted to see live, and Eben Etzebeth truly gave a Rugby Championship performance that will go out to his late father, rest in peace. Etzebeth is a player who's going to play no matter who he's playing for very well. Though the Springboks, I would be worried if I was a fan of theirs right now, this guy is still going to do an absolutely amazing job no matter what kind of team he is in. He got a try and got man of the match against Argentina and ran 34 metres, beat 5 defenders, 1 clean break off just 11 carries, so those are some pretty solid numbers for a lock, and missed just 2 tackles. I had to put him in the team. I am a very big fan of Etzebeth, and with just 3 games, well, I had to chuck him in there somewhere. Player of the tournament, though, is quite easily Scott Barrett for me. He played every available minute of the tournament, ran 136 metres, beat 5 defenders, made 1 clean break off 23 carries, and look at that pass to carry ratio. You do not see forwards making a lot of these passes so frequently up until the 2020s. It was not a historic thing for forwards in rugby, yet Barrett has made 20 passes, 1 try assist, and 1 offload off 23 carries. Incredible stuff for a big guy. He also made a huge tackle on Tate McDermott to get a try for Shannon Frizzell, and also won 3 turnovers at the Melbourne Cricket Ground where he got player of the match. Absolutely monster tournament, didn't even miss a tackle whatsoever. Straight up 10 out of 10. Scott Barrett is definitely my player of the tournament. Speaking of Shannon Frizzell, I've selected him at blindside flanker. He is about to take Akira Ioane's spot as the number 1 on the All Blacks blindside flanker depth chart, and as Akira Ioane is not currently in the squad, it is pretty much inevitable because Shannon Frizzell played really well against South Africa as well, getting man of the match, ran 154 metres, beat 10 defenders, 2 clean breaks off 31 carries, and like Barrett, he's got a very nice pass to carry ratio of 21 passes and 3 offloads. Got 2 tries as well to insert himself as one of the top try scorers of the tournament. Frizzell's 32 from 38 tackles, ain't too bad either. And in the past, I have criticised the guy for being a bit of a seagull around the breakdown, but he competed when he needed to and got 2 turnovers in a very solid tournament. The open side flanker Quagga Smith made the exact same amount of turnovers as Frizzell, and he also made 28 from 30 tackles in an excellent defensive display. Quagga Smith is criticised by a few Springbok fans for being a little bit small, but I did meet him after the game, though we didn't exactly get the best photo. The guy is pretty muscular, he just doesn't weigh that much because of his low body fat percentage, I'm starting to think. He had a pretty good run against the All Blacks as well, as we can see with his running stats, also getting a try, while his tackle ratio was very good against Los Pumas in a very tough match they really needed to close out. Quagga Smith is shaping up to be a really important player off the bench at the World Cup. Though I prefer Marco van Staden to start if Sia Khaleesi isn't available, Quagga Smith is still going to be very important to the cause. And Bobby V, as they call him, I had to give the Wallabies some credit for their improvements throughout the tournament. Though everyone thinks they're in a far worse place than they were this time last year, they are definitely showing some promise, and a pure example of this is Rob Valentini. He also played every single minute of the tournament, got 1 try in the Bledisloe Cup test, ran 124 metres, 3 defenders beaten, 22 carries. His passing game could definitely go up a notch, but his tackle ratio was absolutely phenomenal, 53 from 56, the top tackler of the tournament. We're now just going to take a quick ad break before we get into the backline, everybody. Right place, right time, just doing what he needs to do. This is what you would expect from an experienced player, and Aaron Smith, bro, he did exactly that. He had an excellent tournament to finish his test career going unbeaten on his attempts to win the Bledisloe Cup. Well done to Aaron Smith on an exactly perfect All Blacks career regarding that Bledisloe winning rate. He also did a fair bit of running when he could for 30 metres off 6 carries. Also got 2 very, very nice tries off excellent support lines to show you can teach the old dog some new tricks. Tackle ratio, I'm not going to bully him too much for that because he is a very small player, and it's also very nice to see him getting 1 turnover. Manie Libbok, who is on very much the opposite end of the scale in terms of experience at test level, Manie Libbok is going to be very good at the World Cup. Handré Pollard is out right now. South Africa don't really have a huge amount of depth at 10 with Pollard out, as Damian Willems starts at both 10 and 15 for them every now and again. And so giving these minutes to Libbok, all 160 of them from the 2 games he played, they are shaping up to be so very crucial before that World Cup, and in those minutes, Libbok played very well. Though he's perhaps a little bit inexperienced for a World Cup, at least we know he's a player in form who can run the cutter with a commanding presence on the pitch. His running game's not too bad at all either, 165 metres, 6 defenders beaten, 1 clean break off 19 carries. As I said, that running the cutter, we can see that with his 33 passes. His tackle ratio, I don't think we can read in too much to that because it's just 3 games. Whereas his kicking ratio isn't too bad at all. Very nice to see him get a try too. Over on the left wing, I told Kurtley Arendse when I met him at the grounds at halftime at Mount Smart Stadium that, dude, you should be playing right now, because right now he is an absolute machine. He was the star player of the match against the Wallabies and did exactly what he needed to do in a game where the attack was a little bit flat against Los Pumas. His hat-trick against Australia means he's the top try scorer of the tournament, and he ran 130 metres in total off 132 minutes, so he nearly ran a metre per minute of test rugby he played during the competition. The tackle ratio, I'm not going to read in too much to that either, as it's just 3 games. He is a back. When you're a back, you can only make the tackles that are coming in front of you, so I'm not going to complain right there at all. 4 clean breaks though, compared to 3 defenders beaten. He is breaking the line more than he's fending people off. Excellent to see. Kurtley Arendse has to continue starting on the wing for South Africa. The midfielders though. Samu Kerevi, his just running it straight has been an active problem for Australia for a long time, but I want to give credit where credit is due and just commend this guy on finally broadening his skill set. His kicking game wasn't exactly that good, but during the Rugby Championship we finally saw Samu Kerevi at 30 years old making kicks from second five during the series. He also made 81% of his tackles, which is really nice to see, and with 18 passes and 2 offloads as well as 1 try assist compared to 29 carries, his pass to carry ratio is starting to get up there a little bit as well compared to the ball hog he used to be, which is so good to see. Kerevi is looking very lean as well, very strong when he does carry the ball indeed. So while he is a very tough carrier, he is broadening his skill sets and he is no longer going to be a problem if selected by the Wallabies. I think that Samu Kerevi is becoming a true late bloomer who is yet to peak in his international career. Len Ikitau, I started getting a bit of a similar sentiment from him, though no real number 13 there, truly stood out to me throughout the tournament. Len Ikitau, I'm going to pick him in this team as well for his improvement. 87% tackle ratio, 53 metres, 1 try scored, and in the 97 minutes he played, he did look at least quite sharp. He wasn't doing everything absolutely perfectly, but I'm going to commend improvement and make that the reason I'm picking him in the team, as there wasn't a true standout at 13. Over on the wing though, it was very hard for me to pick a number 14 because we saw a lot of very nice continuous plays out wide where wingers were passing, and Will Jordan, he epitomised that. Also got to play his first 19 minutes of test rugby at fullback after Caleb Clark replaced Beauden Barrett, and so those who have really been just crying for Jordan to get minutes of 15, they finally got what they wished for, which is really nice. Jordan also got 2 tries, ran 180 metres, beat 10 defenders, made 10 clean breaks, all of just 24 carries with 18 passes, 4 offloads, 2 try assists. He's also distributing the ball more than he is actually taking it forward. The most impressive thing though I think that we've seen from Jordan is the fact that he did not miss a tackle throughout the entire tournament. Throughout a lot of his career, he has not been up to test standards on defence, and so a bit of the research I'm doing for a future video on the All Blacks outside backs, I am just going to dump a few of the notes I've made because of Jordan's improvements on defence. 1 turnover made as well. It's always nice to see him utilising that wee skill set there too. As for fullbacks, no one really stood out there either, so I want to commend Emiliano Buffelli for just giving the Los Pumas team a very nice aerial game. The All Blacks really just tried to suffocate them in the air, but it wasn't as easy against Los Pumas, whereas he did definitely make a difference against Australia in the air, and when he did get the chance to run the ball, 63 metres off 10 carries is not too bad at all. Neither is 15 passes. He just comes up and adds his distribution when he can. 2 from 4 tackles, we can't read into that too much either. That is a ridiculously low number of tackles, and off the boot, crucial, missed just 2 kicks throughout the tournament. Buffelli may not be their first choice fullback, as Juan Cruz Malia is now back from his wee extended rest, but if Malia goes down, Buffelli is going to be really important for Los Pumas, and I'm hoping they continue to pick him on the wing as their kicker for the World Cup, as Santiago Carrera's kicking did indeed cost Los Pumas that match against South Africa. Emiliano Buffelli is an absolutely solid player, and so I'm just going to pick him for the sake of commending his basics performances. This has been my 2023 Rugby Championship team of the tournament. Make sure to comment your MVP, your player of the tournament down below in the comments as well. Subscribe to me. And of course, like this video if you enjoyed it a lot. You can also support me over on Instagram and over on Threads, where you can also become one of my patrons, who I mentioned earlier before. I've also done a player ratings for the All Blacks versus Wallabies that you can check out down in the pinned comment down below. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. I'm going to see you later. Cheers from Max.